Hello. It is Thursday morning, which means it is time to stamp. And today it's all about stamping with our October Paper Pumpkin Kit. So, Kat, good morning. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to officially begin with good Thursday morning and welcome to Seeing Ink Spots Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin Kit class. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. Today, we are going to make alternative projects using the very awesome Ho 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 Paper Pumpkin Kit. So, give lots of comments today. It helps me to interact with you so that I'm not just talking to the wind here in Idaho. And I appreciate those comments. So, let's see, Maggie is here. Hello, Maggie. It's so good to see you. Grace McNeil from Toronto. You're a friend of Jen Mallett and on vacation. Well, I am glad you're here. Say hello to Jen. Welcome. You are always welcome here at Seeing Ink Spots. Hello, Nicole. Good to have you here. I am going to flip my camera and we're going to begin with a little bit of business as we always do so that you're informed of what I've got coming up in the very near future. And then we're going to stamp. And boy, do I have a lot to stamp today. So I hope we get through it all. Jolinda is in the house. She's here. Good to see you here, Jolinda. Okay, here comes the hand. Sorry. And here comes the flip. Whoops. Got a bit of a dip flip. The stand kind of went down and then up. Okay, so I want to give you just a little heads up. This Monday, I don't normally stamp on I do stamp on a Monday, but I don't usually have a class on a Monday, but our Use It Up for November will be on Monday, November 7th. I want to just stop right here and say hello to Peggy. Thank you for joining along with us today. So this Monday, Use It Up. It's in the Backstage Pass. Here is the kit that you may have received. You may have received this in your Fond of Autumn kit. Hello to Monica as well. So going back to this kit, it's our Use It Up kit. This class is all about using our stash and pulling things off the shelves, cutting them up, and using them up. So Use It Up will be this Monday, and I'm going to be using the Peaceful Deer stamp set along with the Peaceful Deer punch. So what I would recommend if you have this kit or you want to join along is that you grab a stamp set, a Christmas stamp set that has a punch. So maybe you have the penguin or a Christmas tree one. We had a Christmas tree punch a little while ago, but grab a bundle that has a punch and you'll be able to stamp along with me. What are we making and Use It Up? We're going to be making Christmas tags, and I'm using up the Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper. And in this class, we will be making 2 of everything. So it's a twofer class. That'll be on Monday, November 7th. How do you get a kit like this? How do you join along in the Backstage Pass? Well, I'll tell you about that in just a moment here. Let me clear some of this stuff out of the way. There's today's little add-on kit. But let me bring in, this is how you can join in the Backstage Pass. Hello, Sherry and Jacqueline. Glad you guys are here as well. So to join the Backstage Pass, to become a holder, a season pass holder, all you have to do is join one of my Technique Time stamp classes. Technique Time is usually the 4th Thursday and Friday of the month, but because of the holidays, this time it's going to be on November 17th and 18th, which means there are only a few more days to register for this class. This class is going to feature the Boughs of Holly Sweet Collection, so that's the Leaves of Holly stamp, the Holly Berry dies, and the very awesome Boughs of Holly Designer Series paper. This kit is jam-packed with a lot of stuff. We will be making 9, and I'll kind of just give you a quick, here's a quick preview. I'm not going to show them to you, but 9 very, very fancy, beautiful tags. That will be Technique Time. This class is $32 and it will be shipped to you if you're here in America. I have not scheduled an online version, but if you would like an online, I will make it available. Send me a comment either here in this video and I will email you. Just let me know your email address and I will email you a link to that. There is a link if you want to buy the kit. It is in my Seeing Ink Spots blog, or you may have seen it here on Seeing Ink Spots on Facebook and in the Backstage Pass. Good morning, Tandra. So awesome to see you here. So if you buy this kit, that gets you into the Backstage Pass, and you can be there to see, I have 3 classes each month that you're not seeing here in Seeing Ink Spots because it's in the Backstage Pass. And it's there that we have Use It Up, Pick Up, and Technique Time. So those classes are awesome. So if you want to join this class and become a Backstage Pass holder, you can also join you can either, buy the kit, it's $32, shipped to you, that includes shipping, and access to the Backstage Pass, or you can place a $75 order on host code, this one right here, BTQ6ZKE3, and that will get you Technique Time. It will also get you January's Use It Up kit. So these 2 kits will come to you with a $75 purchase. I will ship them to you and you will have access to the Backstage Pass and then these 2 classes. So why is Use It Up not in December? Because it's Christmas time and it's kind of crazy. So Use It Up will be in January. We'll kind of pick that back up in January. And that will be on January 12th. And I'm going to use the True Beauty stamp set, but you could use any distinctive style floral images. So that's what's coming up, folks, in the next little bit. One more little bit of information here. There will be a Simple Up Style class in December for the tag kit that's coming out later this month. And also the last Technique Time of the year. And the link is for registration for this is on my blog. It went up today. And so there are 2 options for this Technique Time, and that is the full kit and the online access. So those are both listed there. We will be making a 2023 desktop calendar. This is 2022's. So this year, our 2023 is going to feature the Cottage Rose stamp set and the Cottage Flower dies. However, I think any floral bundle will work just fine for this particular calendar. It's going to look beautiful. So register for that. That will, once it's filled, I will only accept online people once all the kits are gone. So, and kits are limited. All right. Enough business. Let's stamp. Okay. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a text, not a text, but shoot me a comment or IM me and I can help you with any information you may need. So Jacqueline's right. Jacqueline said here in the comments here, she won a class for the Technique Time. She won that class in my last Studio Ink Spots stamp camp. Just to put a teaser out there, there is another Studio Ink Spots coming. It will be in February. And I have some plans already in the works, but I'm not ready to give any of them out just yet. But when I do, you're going to love it. So get ready. Get ready. It's going to be a fabulous one. Okay, on with the show. Let's upstyle our paper pumpkin kit here. Class, whatever. All right. So here is a little add-on kit that those who join Technique Time and are subscribers with me, so you have a possibility of getting 3 kits in the mail. This is what was in there in the little packet here. And in the spirit of using things up, we are using up some found embellishments. I don't even remember the names, you guys. This one was from a former paper pumpkin, but this one had the little raindrops, the clear raindrops. So some of these are old. So just grab some old embellishments that you might have on hand. And then I'm using some cardstocks with this. So we have Cherry Cobbler, And so my cherry cobbler here is a half sheet. So it's 4 1/4 by 11. I kind of have a funky measurement of some Bermuda Bay here. I had some scraps, so I folded it in half so I could pack it. And that's in here. So this is 3 1/2 inches wide by 11. This is a half sheet of shaded spruce. We'll make a card with that. And then I have a half sheet of crumb cake. And when we get to this card, I will share the measurements on that. But it's 4 1/4 by 11. And I have a couple sheets of Very Vanilla here. So that was what was packed in the add-on kit. And so we shall begin with our first project and our first upstyled little card here. Let me show you the pieces I'm going to use. These are all going to come from the Paper Pumpkin kit. No added pieces here. We're just getting our feet wet, learning the features of this kit. And we're going to use one of the crumb cake card bases that they gave us. So let's give it a good crease here. Okay. And then I'm also using, this is one of these lovely die cut, laser cut layers in here that they've given us. You know, this works great as a stencil. And if you want to still use this side, just flip it over and stencil something, and then you can use this on another project. Or vice versa. If you want the white to show, stencil this side and flip it over. So use it as a stencil first, then go ahead and put it on your card. But for now, I'm going to glue this to my card base. So I'm just going to add, whoops, that was a big air bubble, thank goodness. But let me spread this glue out just a little bit. And I'm just going to add little touches of glue here and there. It doesn't need to be down like, you know, too crazy. Okay. Kat says she loves the laser cuts. I do too. That's what and I love Paper Pumpkin kits because we get a little bit of something we don't have, yet it's not like overtaking our stash of space or space for our stash. I just let you know, I use up my Paper Pumpkin kits. I use all the pieces and I don't have them stacking up. I think I have one from last year, the apple pumpkin one. I never made that one because I was sick at the time. Okay, so use your Paper Pumpkin kits. Put them to work. And okay, so now this card, what I'm going to do to finish this up, we're going to make this be a landscape card. I am going to use the J, O, and Y from the kit. Let me bring it down into view. I'm also using a couple of the snowflakes. Okay. So these, I've just punched out a couple of these laser cut snowflakes and they're iridescent on one side. So just make sure you're using the iridescent side. And I'm also using, this is the longer of this pink and cherry cobbler stripe and one of the banners here. So those will be my elements for this card. I'm also going to grab, so in the kit, you know, we have these frames and then you punch this piece out. I'm going to grab this piece right here because I'm going to stamp a little bit on that. So, Nicole, did I pass out my treat boxes I made for Halloween? Yes, I did. I passed them out. We went to my son's neighborhood and I passed them out there and it was fun. Okay, so the stamping that I'm going to do, oh, Lori Healy, you're so cute. She just signed up for my calendar class. Okay, so you're like my number 2 because I had Jacqueline already in there for her kit. Okay, so I'm glad you did that. It's going to be a fabulous class. Okay, so here's the stamp I'm using, getting back to the stamping. And I am going to bring in, this is my foam mat for your Stamparatus. And you can buy extras of these. And I like to stamp on this in lieu of the piercing pad. This is what I like. Okay, and I like this not only for stamping when I'm stamping a larger image with your photopolymer stamps, but I also like it if I'm stamping. So see my surface here, my scratch paper is white and then this paper is white. It's kind of hard to see where you're stamping. So I have 2 suggestions for you. Stamp on a contrasting color. So that's why I've brought in the black. And make sure your block is bigger than your stamp. That way you can see through to your paper. Okay, so those are my 2 suggestions. I'm going to bring out Early Espresso ink. That's the color. They gave us a spot, but I'm going to use my very old ink pad here. And I am going to only ink up "'Tis the Season." Okay, so just "'Tis the Season." Okay, and that's easy enough to do without doing a whole bunch of masking, but I might go in here and kind of give that a wipe just to be sure. And I will just arrange this right down here on the very bottom. You know what? My N doesn't have enough ink. So excuse me while I add just a little bit more ink to my N. Okay, there we go, better. Now I can see where I'm putting that. Cute, and I wanted that just teeny tiny. We're just making a little tiny banner. And now with my paper cutter, I am going to just chop this up. I'm bringing in my little mini cutter, and we'll give this a little trim here. Make sure that's big enough. So you can kind of see, I've got it sticking out this other side. And I'm gonna just chop that little end right off. Okay, so just make yourself a tiny little label here that says "'Tis the Season." No measurements on that, just go for it. You'll get it right, I'm sure. Okay, let me set that aside, that. And keep this little white piece that we made that, because we'll go back to that. I like to, when they have pieces of white that are included in the kit, I like to match the whites. So now I know that the white that's surrounding this joy is gonna match this. Okay, so moving right along, simple here. I'm gonna put dimensionals on the back of this banner. Now we're just gonna layer these images and call it art. Look at this, they gave us a nice full sheet of dimensionals in this kit. So I'm going to do, and I'm going to do 3 on here just so that it doesn't sag in the middle, and I can be sure that it's going to hold everything up. You did too, Nicole? What did you do too? I'm assuming that maybe you signed up for the class. Okay, I'm going to run this just kind of off to the right side a little bit. I don't want it dead center. There's that. Yay, cool. Awesome, Nicole, that's fabulous. You're gonna love it. All right, a little glue on the back of this, and this is going to just kind of come right over here like so. And next layer, I'm gonna bring in the joy, but I'm also going to add my other elements so that I can see where I'm going to glue them. So I don't want this to be totally perfect. I want it a little bit, a little haphazard, you know, just kind of a little bit whimsical. I'm going to tuck, this is the medium, okay? So let's just talk about these snowflakes for just a second here. They gave us a whole sheet, all right? And so there were some larger ones. There's 3 larger. And then there were a bunch of the mediums and a bunch of the small. And look at all of this negative space that I used the Chic dies, the snowflakes, and I just cut out a bunch of extras. So I cut out, there's 1, 2 of the medium from the Chic dies, and then this little one, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, you know, you can squeeze some more in there. So get all that you can out of that piece because it's pretty. We don't sell an iridescent paper like that. But I am going to tuck this one kind of under the letters like that. And then this one is going to go on top, and then this will stretch across like that. So that's kind of where we're going. So now that we know, I'm going to just kind of gently lift these off and add a dot of glue to my larger snowflake. It's not the largest, but, and I knew that that was right about here. Okay, we've had a few others pop on. So welcome. I'm so glad you are here with me today. Stamping along. This is our first card using the Ho 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 Paper Pumpkin Kit. Okay, let me bring my letters back in here. Well, I know that the O is going to be pretty much centered. I am doing it off kilter like that intentionally. I want a little whimsy, as I mentioned. Here goes the Y. Okay, now the J. Does that fit? I just want to make sure it doesn't show. Hello. We have a few more. We have Kayleen, and I saw Marcia popped on, and Annette. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to have some fun. This is our first card, but we're just about to say what we say after we finished one card. You can see where this is going, keeping this kind of simple alternative here. Now for this, I'm going to use some minis because it's just mini. And I'll just stretch 3 across the back. Nice and easy. There we have it. Okay, oops, I didn't get that last cover. Great. So, for you guys, has anybody been stamping anything Christmassy? What are you guys working on? Anything at the moment? Curious, just curious to know. And in the kits, we received, they did give us some little embellishments. I'll be honest with you, I was looking at the instructions and I'm like, I can't figure out if the instruction says to use this or to use a glue dot. So I'm not quite sure where they wanted them and my eyes couldn't focus on them. But anyhow, you could add a few little elements to this. I think it would be kind of fun. So I'll use the ones from the kit. That way this card is 100% from the kit. So here's a larger one. And I think I'll stick this one right there. And now I'll do a small, I'm going to do this guy over here. Let go. And we'll do another one right about there. Cute. I'm going to take this one so it's not right on the center of that. It's kind of, well, nope, it's going to stay there for now. It's on tight. Okay, a little flick of Wink of Stella, just to give it some sparkle and shine. Because it's a Christmas card. Even if it weren't a Christmas card, I would be doing this. You can kind of flick it or you can kind of bang it on the lid, and there you have it. Our first one and done cutie card. It's definitely joyful, right? So I think this is really sweet, and that's all just an alternative mix of what's in the kit. I didn't add anything else. So hope you like that one. I do. It's kind of sweet. All right, number 2. So our second card, we're going to need, oops, I just dropped all my pieces. We're going to need an envelope, and we're going to break this envelope down and use it for several different projects. So to break this down, here's what I like to do when I'm cutting these envelopes down, is I cut the sides off, just taking a teeny tiny little bit of that edge right off. So just right in there at your trimmer. Okay, because we want as much of this as we can get. And now I'll turn this over, take a slice off that, and open this up, and look at this. We have all kinds of awesomeness here, right? All right, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to, right here, give that a slice. Keep this. We will use it for another project for sure. And then I am going to cut a piece. If I remember correctly, I think we're going to cut a piece that's 2 7/8. So I'm going to turn this, place this edge. Look, I need to replace my blade. It's not liking this thinner, lighter weight paper. So I'm going to cut this at 2 7/8. And I'm going to cut it at 4 7/8 to 4 7/8. Sorry, scrap that, not 4 7/8. All right, I want it to be 5 3/8. Almost the length of the card, 5 3/8. Should be enough. Okay, save this. I have another plan for that. So this piece here, we're going to line one of the laser cut pieces. So for our card, here's what we're going to need for our card. Grab one of these cuties, and this time let's use one of the card bases. Let's use the Cherry Cobbler card base that they've given us, and a Santa Claus, and the J. So we'll do it like they've shown, the J-O-Y Super cute. Super, super cute. And I'm also going to bring in for this card, in the Autumn Bouquet dies, there's a banner in there. And I love this banner. And so I've used it in Blushing Bride. I think I've got 4 of these in Blushing Bride that I'm using in this class. 3 or 4. Anyhow, this is a fabulous piece. And you'll see what we're going to do with it in just a second. Okay, so this here, I'm going to flip my paper over. First off, we got to get rid of this. Was it driving you nuts like it was me? I'm sure. Okay, this is going to glue to the back of this laser piece, like so. And I am using the white side for this, okay? So a little glue, which is a bummer because look at that cute stitching on here, but that's okay. We'll use it on another card. So just some glue here and there. Hold it down. And you do want to make sure you've got those lines fairly straight. All right, there we go. And this is going to mount onto our card with dimensionals. But before we do that, go to your stash of supplies and see what you have linen thread wise. So the Sweet Sorbet from the In Color Baker's Twine Pack looks great with this card kit. I've used that in places. I've also used linen thread, but I also came across, I think this was from when we had, I don't remember, but it was one of our, this is kind of an evening evergreen, dark green twine. And so I'm using that up. I have just that much left. In fact, as I was doing the card, I'm like, man, I really wish I had some green twine. And I looked in my little drawer where I have remnants, and sure enough, I had some. So use your stash. I can't say it enough. Use what you have. Don't just collect it and have it sit, but use it up. It looks much better on a card or a tag or a project, scrapbook page, than it does in your drawer. I am gonna tie a knot in that. So I have this kind of going, it's not right dead center, but you can see I'm not quite at 1/3 either. It's close to, but 1/3 of the way up or 2/3 of the way down. You pick. Okay. Nobody mentioned what they have been creating lately. What have you been crafting? What's on your mind? What is in on your stamp table? What you've been making lately? I'm curious to know. I'm just evening up my ends. Get rid of that. Put that in my little trash bucket. Okay, now I'm going to add dimensionals all to the back of this. Is anybody, just curious if anybody is stamping along with me? Or are you just watching for some ideas? Tomorrow I will post photos of things. So you'll be able to come back to my page here and see pictures, finished pictures. Okay, so this is going to be a vertical card. So I'm going to center this right over that crumb cake section, like so. There's our first step. Now we'll fold this, give it a good crease. There we have that. And now we have some stamping to do for sure. So let's talk about stamping the Santa and stamping this banner. I have some suggestions for you, and that is, hopefully you guys still have this piece that you punched out from your kit, because what I'm going to do is with this, where the Santas were, this is my Stamparatus. What I want to do here is I'm going to take the Santa image and I'm going to set that right inside there, okay? So we're going to line that up. Hopefully that's good. wait, let me see. It might be a little crooked here. I'm gonna pick it up with the arm of my Stamparatus. Let me move this up just a little bit so you can see. And let's do some ink. We'll test drive it, and I'm gonna stamp right in there. And if it's not quite right, we can move it around until it is quite right. Yeah, it looks like it's a little far down on that corner. So maybe what I'm gonna do here is just move this a skosh to where I want it. And then I'll put the stamp back in there. Okay, peel that off. But once you have this on nicely, then you can start to stamp these and make sure that they're all on nice and centered. Because I have one that's not on in the best spot. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So now you can take your Santa, set him right inside there. So you've kind of made your own little jig, right? And hopefully this, oh, I just got ink on it. Shoot, Queen. Let me just do a little. Sometimes when ink is fresh, you can give it a little rub with a sand eraser and get that ink off. But yeah, inky fingers, that's about inky and sticky, right? Now let's stamp that and hope for the best. Cute. That's a much better placement than what some of my others. It's like, oops. And now, yeah, now his eyes line up with his eyebrows because I have his eyes in the eyebrows sometimes. Okay, so I'm really, really liking this. Okay, so try that with your Stamparatus. We're going to come back to that as we do this a few more times. And now for this piece here, we are going to stamp the 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly. And this is what I'm going to do though. I'm going to take the stamp off my block because I want to, because it's photopolymer, I want it to fit the shape of this banner here. So what's important is you are going to flip your banner over and then take, and I have to make sure I'm doing it the right way. I think, so let's go back. I think you want to flip it over this way. You're like, did that make any difference? I don't know. We'll see. But you'll get the idea. So now what you're going to do is put your 'Tis the Season and just, because your letters are backwards right now, because you're working on the back side of the stamp, and that's not quite the arc that I want. Okay, let me give it just a little bit more right in there. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm having a hard time. Let me start on this end. Okay, come over here. Need it a little closer to me. So I'm going to start. And I'm just curving this to fit. And then give it a good press down. Okay, now if you turn your stamp over and your banner, the whole thing is everything has to be flipped over in order for that to work. Okay, so now take your 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly image with your Early Espresso ink or your little spot that they gave you, and look how cute this is. All right, love it. That, to me, when I figured that one out for this particular kit, I was just like loving that stamp with this die. So hopefully you have the bouquet dies. So awesome. Now we have our elements to finish our card here. So this is going to come together pretty easy. I'm going to start with our greeting, and I'll throw a few dimensionals on the back. There's 1, 2, and a third. Peel those. And this is going to set just above the little bit of linen thread here, the green linen. We'll get this to kind of go underneath. So right about there looks good. And hello, Santa Claus. you're going on with a couple dimensionals. And I'm going to kind of move him over here to the side just a little bit. And then the Y. And get your Wink of Stella ready, because we are going to definitely be painting this one. So I'm going to tuck the Y just kind of right in here. There's Y, and now the J, same drill. Super cute. Oh goodness, this is super, super cute. And there you have it. That's the bulk of our card. But now these touches you might not see very well on the camera here. But I'm going to do it anyway because it looks so good. So shake your Wink of Stella. Give it a squeeze, not over your project. Just to get that, I can see that now it's kind of flowing in there. And I'm going to paint the Y and the J for sure. And boy, does this just look so awesome on the cherry cobbler here. It shows up nicely. So we'll do his hat, of course, and the pom-pom, and the fringe, and his sideburns, and his mustache, and his nose, and his beard. Got to get it all in there, right? Too sweet. And there you have our second alternative there. Here's my original one I was working off of. So you know you can get two out of the kit for sure like this if you want. You might be doing something different. So moving right along, let's go to another card here. And for this one, I'm going to use, so I have some Very Vanilla. We're going to need some vanilla pieces. And I'm going to use this piece of crumb cake. And let me tell you where this crumb cake has been scored. It's been scored at 4 1/4 and 7. So if I bring this scratch piece up, you can see. So it's 4 1/4 by 11, and then I've scored it at 4 1/4 and 7. And so this is going to be a card that's going to open like so. So speaking of so, let's trim one of these Very Vanillas. It's a quarter sheet that was in the kit. We're going to trim this to be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And this piece, whoops, is going to add right to the top of our crumb cake like so. Also for this card, part of the layers, we're going to use the envelope here. And so for this, what I want to do is I'm going to use this fold and down in here, this curve. So you can see there's these right here on the side. We're going to cut those off, okay? And I think I'm going to use my little trimmer here just because it's not going to give me little frays. So put that right at the edge. We're just going to get rid of that. Basically what we want is a piece that's 4 1/4 inches wide, but I am going to maintain this curve. Sorry. Let me turn this over and get this just taken apart here real quick. Okay, so keep these. You never know what they're going to be for. Actually, I do know what they're going to be for. Okay, so this is a little bit more than 4 1/4 inches wide. So nope, it's like right on 4 1/4. Well, it's a skosh. So let me turn this. It was ever so slightly, it's like pencil thin. Okay, here we go. So this piece here, so you can see we've broken that envelope down, and I'm including this. And this piece is going to glue to the inside of our card right in here. So that when we shut this, we have this piece peeking through, and then this piece is on top. Not quite ready to glue. I didn't put this on the list of things that we would need, but if you stamp with me enough, you're going to keep a punch, whether it's a 3/4, a 1 inch, 1 1/4. Look at how old this one is. This is our old whale tail that we used to sell. But have one of these on hand if you're going to stamp along. Let me turn this over. I am going to cut a little notch out of this to make a pocket. And I like to make pockets in lots of cards. It's like if the paper's there, why not make it work for you in a fun way? So when I glue this to the inside, I am not going to glue everything down. I'm only going to glue down this bottom edge and these two sides so that this flap is free. And you'll see why. One reason why is so that it doesn't bulk funny, you know, and pucker in your card. The other reason is so that you can lift it up and sign the inside of your card. Because you're not going to want to sign on all this busy plaid, right? So can you see where I've put that glue? So my glue is on this side, across this fold, and right there, so that leaves this free for a gift card, or maybe you have a little wallet photo that you want to slip in there for Christmas for somebody, but now you have access and function at the same time. Okay, so now we're on a roll. All right, so here we go. I'm going to stamp some Santa Clauses on this card, and we're going to use shaded spruce. So I'm going to pull this off for right now since we're not going to glue that down just yet. Let's do some stamping, and let's do some stamping with our Santa Claus. And you're going to laugh at me, but I don't want to take my Santa Claus off of my plate here because I'm going to use it again. So I'm just going to use this as a block, a big flat block. But I need to get rid of this ink real quick here because we don't want to get that on our project. So let me just get rid of that. Okay, get rid of the brown ink on Santa. We'll put this back on so that we can do that real precision stamping again. Give Santa a little ink here. This is shaded spruce. Okay, and I am going to stamp him right about here, like so. There's one. And I'm going to do another one. We're going to stamp 4 of these in total. Let's do a second one. Well, I've got some ink right there that we don't want. We'll do a second one over here. And yes, he's kind of off the page. That's fine. And I want 2 more. So on a second piece of vanilla, we'll stamp him. And then I've also already stamped him on a Post-it note. Okay, so my Post-it note, I've cut inside the lines here. So I can cover this guy needs to be covered up. Because I'm going to stamp one more on here, one more there, and then one more on here that we'll cut out. So, well, let's see. Using this as a block is not the easiest thing to do, but it does work. And I'll stamp him a little bit higher, just for fun. Great. One more time. Lots of stamping in this one. And just stamp it down in the corner because you know you're going to cut it out. Cute. Now, we are still not done stamping with this Santa. These pieces, these scraps that we have here, we are going to stamp the hats. So with these scraps, we are using everything up here. Don't worry about inking everything. I'm just basically getting the Santa hat because we're going to paper piece and give him, instead of coloring it in, we're going to color in with Designer Series envelope. So there you have it. And we need 4 because we have 4 Santa Clauses, right? I should have done these ahead of time. I didn't even think of it. I was just too busy having fun going, look how cute that is. And I'll use this little strip right here. Don't worry if it's not vertical, completely straight. And because we're only going to take that certain little section, 2 more of those. And just anywhere on here is good. Look at that. We're using the throwaway pieces. And one more. Kind of turning the angle a little bit here. Okay, there we have it. So that is the stamping of Santa. We have a few other things to stamp for this card. Let me just clean up my plate here so that I can put this away and I don't accidentally come in with our next card and have a mess. Okay, so Santa is done, but we're gonna keep Shaded Spruce out and let's stamp the Ho Ho Ho. Let me see if I can find it. So Mount Ho Ho Ho. You know what's really sad, folks? I designed a whole bunch of cards and at the very last realized that there were two stamps that I didn't use. And I'm like, oh, the Holly Jolly and the Holiday. I'm like, the Holly Jolly is so cute too. I wish I had. Okay, so we're gonna stamp Ho Ho Ho. That is in Shaded Spruce. We're also going to stamp 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly in the Ho Ho Ho, but it looks like it kind of got off of its track there. Squish that on. Oh, I do have comments. They're not scrolling. Shoot. Oh man. Oh, I'm so bummed. You guys have been talking to me and I haven't seen any of it. So sorry. Yeah, why aren't these scrolling for me? Okay, well, hopefully now they will. Okay, you're also going to need, remember this banner we just used? We're going to use it again. And 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly is stamped in the Shaded Spruce, and we'll do the same thing on this cute banner. I told you guys, once I get onto something, I'm going to stick with it because it's just cute. Also for this card, grab the one of the Shaded Spruce green strips from the kit. So now we have some fussy cutting to do here, folks. We can reveal our masked Santa. And we can glue this on. This is ready to glue on. Some funky glue action there. That's okay. Just like your husband. Oh, okay, so here is the start. And let's just, since we're in the glue mode here, let's keep assembling so that we don't lose pieces, which I have a tendency to do. A little bit of glue on this. This is going to stretch down across the bottom. It doesn't fit quite all the way across, but just split the difference. There you have that. Okay, and let's put this on as well so that we don't lose it. Same drill as before. I'm going to do 3 dimensionals along the back. Then we have some fussy cutting. So all those comments that I didn't see, you guys, you'll have to fill me in if anybody answered, if they've been stamping and creating lately, what you've been making, while I do a little fussy cut action here. And I'm going to fussy cut, and I'll bring this up to the top here if I can. I am going to fussy cut just inside this green line. And this isn't too bad to fussy cut. The Ho Ho Ho, that's another story. It's not hard. It just takes a few minutes. I did cut that one out ahead of time though. I do think the Ho 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 is easier to cut. Oh, I just cut way into my paper. That was really stupid. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so don't cut into your paper like I just did. It won't show by the time we glue it down. Again, I'm going to cut just inside, right along that green edge. Okay? And while you have it, rather than cutting them out and losing them, I'm going to add these in to, I'm going to do a little 2-second tidy here on the tip of my glue. I'm going to add a little glue right in here. Just a little bit. Come on, go. Okay, take this guy and just set him right inside like that. And of course, we'll have to snip that little piece off right there. Ta-da! Okay, so there's our first Santa Claus. And our second one, we're gonna go through and clip these out. I think there's one little bit of stamping I forgot to do, but that's okay, it's easy. Okay, just to the inside again, and inside. Okay, there's a second hat, and we'll put that one on this. And again, I'll have to do a little trim on the edge there because it hangs off the edge. Now this one, I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to do just a little bit of work on it so that it this pom-pom shows, that I don't cover it up, so that I'm maintaining that mask look. And I'll show you what I did to do that. Of course, do I have a pencil handy? No. I'm going to have to just eyeball it. Okay. Get this one. You can't cut that direction and stay in line. You know what, Kayleen? I eyeball it. I don't actually, I can't, sometimes I do it and I'm driving blind, so to say. So I can see I need to just clip off this little corner here. What I did before is I used a pencil, but I don't have a pencil handy, so I'm just gonna kind of, it was about that much. We'll see if that was enough to do it. I think so. I think it's looking good. It could maybe use just a touch more, but not much. Okay, a little glue. And set it down. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. See where we're going. Got glue all over. That's why you just put a little on the thing. Okay, so this, what you're going to want to do is definitely cut out the ho, ho, ho. And I like to first give it a rough cut and then, whoops, fussy cut the whole thing, which I have mine done right here. Let me see if I can get it out of the tray. So there's my ho, ho, ho. I should have done my Santa Claus. I forgot to. So I'll just do him real quick. But fussy cut. And I'm just going to kind of come pretty close. And I think the beard is the hardest thing. I don't know. I have a hard time cutting curves. Everything else is much easier. Okay. And I'm going to come in and around, do a rough cut. Now we'll come back in and clean this up. Okay, just turn that paper and slowly shut your blade. Get in there. And I like to, like I say, cutting circles. Ugh. I wish there were a trick to get around them. Okay, good enough. The hat's easy to do. Nice fussy cutting. I'm usually much better. I am like just kind of flying through it right now. I take a little bit more time, but I don't want you to like go snooze fest here. And like I say, I usually have these done ahead of time, but I forgot about Santa. That's okay. He's cute. The best tip I read about cutting circles was turn the paper, not the scissors. Right, exactly. But even Stowe, when I turn the paper, it, I sometimes, you know, still have a train wreck. Okay. Now, my other tip that I should have done is I'm cutting a white or close to a white image over white stuff. It is easier to fussy cut over a completely, you know, a contrasting color, because then you can see exactly where your papers are. So that's another tip for you. Okay, so there's this Santa. He's going to go right in there. He needs a hat as well. So let me trim this one out real fast. And we'll finish assembling, and then hit the inside of this, has a little bit of stamping as well. But this is a completely different card than any we've made before. The fold here I learned from my friend Dina. Okay, so now this is, so Kayleen, when you said you can't fussy cut that direction, this is where I'm like cutting blind here, but I kind of know where it's going. It's so simple. Okay, I am going to add my glue here because it doesn't get overwhelming. There he is. Okay, now I had a few listed blends for this class, and so my blends for this, now mine are some of mine are old, but I have what's called ivory. This was before we had the neutral skin tones, so this is probably like the medium light. And I have petal pink and I have flirty flamingo, and I am going to color his face. And you think, whoa, he's tan, but this will lighten up and look great in just a second here. And with the flirty flamingo, I am going to color his cheeks. So cute. And a little bit on his nose, maybe just a skosh more on that cheek and that cheek. But look how much, it was totally intense, and look how it's blending out. Now with the petal pink, I am going to just kind of blend that, so there are no harsh lines. Look how cute that is. But wait, we're not done. Something I didn't list on here, because you don't have to do this, it's just kind of fun if you do want to. This is the Snowfall Accents Puff Paint. Now, Snowfall Accents Puff Paint can get away from you. Let the paint fall out of don't squeeze, just let it fall out and land on your image where you want it. We'll get some right here. And his mustache. And you know what? Less is more on this, I found. And what you can do is add more if you think you need more, okay? Yes, I agree, Nicole, it is fun. So like I say, it's just a matter of not going overboard, because you can, you know, all this work to fussy cut him out and everything, and then it's like, oh boy, I've done a number on him with the puff paint. Okay. And it doesn't have to be totally full. In fact, I have some missing spots, but I've kind of colored in circles with the tip, and that will hopefully get us kind of some curly beard action. Okay, let me get let me put a little something in between my counter and my creation here. And with your heat tool, you're gonna just set this and let it puff up. There it goes, isn't that cute? Super cute. Fun to do if you had some older kids around, not littles, but they might, they might get a kick out of, hello, I don't want to touch it, but I think it's kind of cute. Use up that Snowfall Accents paint. So he is going to go on with some dimensionals in this negative spot here. Just a couple. And you know, you could paint, you know, use your blends to color in the faces of these other Santas. I think on my original, I just did the noses. There's this and this. Let me bring the minis in for this. So this is just stamped, whoops, holy cow, and fussy cut. I did that ahead of time. And I'm putting 3 on. So has anybody else been using that snowfall, that puff paint action? And then ho, ho, ho is gonna come right in there. And you know it, we're gonna do it. I am going to paint just real light and quick. Give a little shimmer to the ho, ho, ho. And clean your tip just in case you've got a little bit of green on that. And then get your white spots. Come in here, give this guy a beard. It just brings this cute card to life here. Mustache, the other direction. There you have it. The front is almost done. I used a little tiny hole punch. I'm going to take some bites out of my paper here. Just a little bite right there, about a 1/2 inch down, well, more like 3/8 of an inch down. Eyeballing it, okay? And now I'm going to use my linen thread to wrap around this. And that's going to hold my linen thread in place so it doesn't slide right off. And so just give yourself a nice hunk of this to tie a bow. And we'll be done with the outside of the card. And I'm going to situate my bow over here to this right side a little ways. Sherry says, I use the white puff paint a tiny bit. We'll definitely be using it more. I like it for these Santas, but also have some ideas for snow and snowflakes. Yes, I want to see them when you finish. Yeah, what I have found is what I said is just to let the puff paint kind of gently let gravity pull it out and don't squeeze it. Because if you do, it's just gonna kind of take over and be a little bit overpowering. I'm gonna slide that over just a little bit. So now take your linen thread, I'm gonna kind of train it. It's a little bit crazy right now. Train it, so I'm kind of taking out the curls with my fingernails. And then straighten this puppy up and even it up as much as you want. I think it's pretty on kind of like pine boughs and trees and things, just like Sherry was saying. It looks cute. Oh yes, Kayleen, on the gingerbread, that would be really cute. Super cute, in fact. Okay, so there is our card front. Now, I felt like this area right here, when I made it, and I did the same thing this time, it felt a little bit like harsh. It was a little glaring to me. So I took my crumb cake and this is the light ivory. I took my petal pink, this is light petal pink, and I did just a little bit of a splatter up top here, just to soften all of the harsh, the vanilla. It's kind of flat, and then just a few little sprinkles helps to bring it to life a little bit. So we've had a few other people pop on. Welcome, folks. Carolyn, and there was another name before that I kind of missed, but they're happy to have you here. We are making alternatives. So there is the front of my card. Now, like I said, this is free so that you can put a message in here. Hello, Gail is popping on, but I do have a little bit here in the inside. So I have on my vanilla, I stamped the word Mary. So Mary's going to come in here and bring your vanilla back into play here. Because let's stamp the word Christmas. Okay. We'll stamp the word Christmas from the set. And I'm going to stamp it in. You could stamp it in Poppy Parade, Cherry Cobbler, you name it. I'm just going to stamp it in Poppy Parade because Poppy Parade is real thin in these. There's real thin pinstripes in there. And I'm going to do this. Wait, you know what? I'm just going to do it up here because I'm going to just hand cut this out. So it doesn't have to be like perfectly straight when I cut it. Meaning I'm going to just use my long handled scissors to cut a long label like this. Okay, so just come in here and just, that's why I say use a long bladed scissors so you can do that in one snip, if you know what I mean. That one. And now let's come up this other side here. Real easy. Talk about an easy fussy cut. Ta-da. And that side. You can put your vanilla away. Now these, so I have these on the inside just kind of offset. So the ho, 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 and then I'm directing my eye down this way like so. But I put mine on with dimensionals and it's causing it to not shut right. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to glue this on this time. And hopefully that will help this card shut. There's that. And now Christmas. And I did use up these red dots that I put in the add-on kits. You could use any of the embellishments that they've given or some that you've got just laying, you know, dying to be on a card. So like I say, these are from a previous Paper Pumpkin kit. But here's my entire card. And so here's where I'm going to place these for this one. You know, rhinestones would look good on here. I'm going to do one right about there, up on the pinstripes. And another one just below it. Okay, you don't want to put it right on that edge. Let me bring this one down just a little bit because then this won't lift up, right? And then let's do a third right about in here. And I'm going to do this last one way up here, up on the top, like right about in here. That way we have these all kind of, they show when the full card is open. So here it is shut. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3 showing, and then when you open it, you have one more. And there's that spot for the card. So there you have it. This is probably the longest card that we'll do today, but a little bit more involved than our first two. Here's my original. There it is. I like these little paper pierced hats. I think are really, really cute. And we totally used up all those little bits and pieces of our paper there. Okay, moving right along. I love the Wintry 3D embossing folders. If you have not got your hands on these, boy, I sure recommend them. So it's a pack of 2, and you have the pine boughs and the snowflakes. And this snowflake one, this is the one that I'm going to use on several more projects coming up here for this Upstyle class. Here are the pieces we're going to use for this card coming up. This is one of the soft. I'm sure this is like Bermuda Bay, just way toned down. I've already pre-glued the vellum to the back of the ho, ho, ho. We're going to use that on this card, as well as one of the green strips. Santa's coming into town again. And this is one of the labels. It has the faint light blue stitching and 3 snowflakes. So 2 that they've given us. And then this one I have cut from the scraps from that kit. So that's what we're using. But before we do any stamping and assembling, I'm going to shake all of this off. I'm going to bring in my embossing plates. So this is the base plate, and then this is plate number 4. So you need 1 and 4 for this 3D folder. Okay? So what I want is just this bottom portion. I want to put snowflakes on this bottom portion. Kayleen asked, did you use glue for the ho, ho, ho. I did. Now, you know me, when I use vellum, I don't like to use glue because it will cause vellum to curl. But what I did is I have just teeny, teeny, teeny slivers of glue on the letters. I mean, no pressure when I'm squeezing it out, just letting gravity pull a little out and touching here and there, because I did not want that, the vellum to curl. Okay, so going back to this, I am going to put my embossing folder. Don't know why my dog is barking, but I'm going to add my embossing folder. Sorry about that, folks. Hey, Bosco, it's okay. So I'm going to add I'm going to, just emboss this bottom portion. And this is how you know how much you're going to do, because it has to fit on the plate here. So I'm going to squish this in just a little bit more. Get that right on the edge. And put my plate on top, and I'm going to run that through the folder. Through the machine. The folder through the machine. Okay. Now, when you see these snowflakes, seriously, when they emboss, they are so, look at that. Is that not the sweetest? Okay, let's give a fold to our card base and a good burnish. And I don't want to burnish any of my snowflakes out, so careful. Should have maybe done it first. There's that. What do you think of this folder? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's do some stamping, our first little bit of stamping. And so for this card, instead of shaded spruce, I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to stamp in Bermuda Bay. And we're going to stamp the Santa Claus is Coming to Town. You guys, when I was a kid, I couldn't wait for this show to be on TV. It was one of my favorites. So Kim likes this. You're talking about the embossing folder, Kim? Yeah, love it. So here is my bringing in a contrasting color using the foam mat. Gives me a little bit of cushion with these photopolymer plus that contrast. Now I can really see my label through my block. So large block and contrast, that will help you to stamp. So that's ready to go. Now we need to stamp Santa, and we're gonna bring in the Stamparatus. So if you remember, I didn't remove him from where I had him preset. We just used it as a block. A little funky, but it works. I'm gonna put this back in the machine here so that we know we're gonna line right up. I have cleaned that earlier. So now I am going to take my Santa and add him right in my little jig here. Now, if you didn't keep this piece, this little die cut piece, go ahead and take your Santa and trace around it with a pencil, and then you can use your Stamparatus. Okay, so here is, I have to tell you something funny. I'll text my mom, and I push the microphone button to talk my text, and it will say, "Mom, can you get out the Stamparatus for Eunice?" And every time I say the word Stamparatus in my phone, it comes out Stamper Radish. So I always think of a stamp. This is my Stamparatus. It's funny. Okay, there it is. I think that he looks pretty good. That's a great tip for getting that and getting the eyebrows right over the little eyes. And I'm going to shut my ink pad, bring my card base back in, and now let's assemble. This is a fairly straightforward card. What I want to do is see this there's a little bit of a line right there from your embossing folder. I'm going to cover that with this strip, or at least not cover it right over, but we're going to bring some stuff over it to disguise that. I call that hiding your mechanics. So yes, Sherry, yes, Stamparatus, but it's two complete different words. It's stamper and radish. So, yep, you got the right idea. So that's just below that funny line. And let's take Santa Claus is Coming to Town, put that on with dimensionals. I covered mine up with my plates. I love that they gave us this big old sheet of dimensionals, because let me tell you, I go through tons and tons of dimensionals. I make a joke. I say, I wish I could take stock out on them. I seriously do, because I use them that much. I'm going to place this one off here to the right. Cuteness. Now let's add the ho, ho, ho in here. And again, I'm going to use, because I don't want to put glue dots on this, but I'm going to get my glue moving here and just right, and I'm trying not to get it on only on the spots where there's the paper, because we don't want any glue to show. So I'm just doing thin, thin, thin little touches of glue to hold this down. Okay, I mean, it is like minuscule amounts. And ho, ho, ho is going to come right in here. Cute. Now, at this point, I am going to take my, let's take the ivory, and I'm just going to do a few little speckles just to kind of break that down, just like we did on the vellum. And we'll take our, don't let this ho, ho, ho glue down too tight. I did this last time. I have a snowflake that's going to go right in there. So I should have laid that out. Okay, so, and I was just about to put the glue on this side, and I noticed, I'm glad I'm working in a light here, because now I can see that that's the iridescent side, and I definitely want the iridescence to show. Hello, it's sparkle. Let's lift this up. We're going to tuck this guy in there. So there's our first snowflake. And I'm going to put the other two snowflakes on after I put my Santa, so I know exactly where they're going to go. So let's dimensional him up. And he is going to set right about here. And snowflake, this is number 2. This is one of the ones that they laser cut for us, part of the kit. Right there. Okay. And this last little one, so this is that tiny little, it's a die from the Chic dies. And to me, it works as like a snowflake. It also works like if you're using that set, it kind of looks great on the centers of flowers as well. And so I have that under this ho, ho, ho. Just let me roll that in there a little bit. 2 more things for this card, and that is, let's bring in the Baker's Twine from the In Color pack. And I'm going to use some of the Sweet Sorbet. I'm simply going to tie a bow and then tuck it next to his cheek over here. So split this in about half. Okay, I never can get it in half very well unless I just do 2 bunny ears and kind of measure it up and then tie it. That's why it's better just to tie it from the bolt and then cut, but I was jumping ahead. Okay, this is better. It's a little bit more even. Okay, maybe just a little bit smaller. It's smaller, and then I pulled it to tighten it, and then it made it just nice and big again. Okay. Here we go. Now, glue dot. They gave us some glue dots in the kit. I like these, they're big glue dots. Grab one of those, and I'm just going to tuck that right there by his mustache, his cheek. Flick that off, go away. And now put the knot of your right on that. I like to use my hobby blade. And just tuck it under a little bit. And I'm going to move that knot inside the best I can. And there's that. And then do color with your Wink of Stella. Get his little pom-pom and the fur on his hat and his mustache, of course. and his beard. And then I'm gonna do a quick brush on the ho, ho, ho. Because again, just like at the very first card when we did it on the J-O-Y, the Wink of Stella just shows up nicely on this cherry cobbler color here. And you don't need to do a ton. Okay. Just little bits here and there, here and there. Okay. Cute. This card is done. I think it is totally adorable. Here's the one I was working off on the side, looking at as we were going here. What do you think of this one? Love this embossing folder. Again, this is the Wintry 3D. It's a 2-pack, and that is the snowflake one. Super cute, super cute. And you know what, folks? This is, aside with adding that, and then I added a little die there. These are elements from the kit. Okay, so we have made what, 4 cards? Okay, I'm going to show you this next card. It's my favorite, and this one's going to take us a little while to complete, but I love this one because it's got a lot of ink blending here, and that's probably one of my favorite things to do. So I'm going to bring in a piece of scratch paper here, and I have a shaded spruce card base. It is 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, so that's going to be my card base. And I am going to use a piece of the, this is Bermuda Bay. Believe it or not, this piece here was a piece of Bermuda Bay. So let's see, how long is this piece going to be? It's 3.5 inches wide, and I'm going to cut it to be 4 3/4 inches long. So 3.5 by 4 3/4. So let's just trim this down so we're not like inking up a whole bunch of paper that we don't need. Okay, so 4 3/4 by 3.5. So save that. You could use it on something if you want. Okay, super, super cool card. Let's do this one together. All right, let's begin. So far we have our shaded spruce card base, a piece of Bermuda Bay. Then from the kit, let's see what we are going to need here. We are going to need one of the little, let's see, and I think I've used all the pieces. We're gonna need, actually I think I used a piece of envelope on this because this one's bigger. I did. So this is a piece of the envelope that we cut. You still have a flap here that you could use, or you could use one of these pieces, but I used, if you're going to use one of these, you're going to have to trim it down. But I used a piece from the envelope, and I'll tell you that measurement in a bit. And I am out of these tags, so I cut myself just a piece of, this is 2 1/4 by 3/4. So I just cut myself my own little piece. I also, on a piece of white, stamped the ho, ho, ho in Poppy Parade. So stamp that on a scrap of white in Poppy Parade and fussy cut that out. You're going to need those. So, but let's see, I do need to stamp this with Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I'm going to stamp with the shaded spruce. Okay. The other thing for this card is you can use some of the snowflakes from your kit, or I have used snowflakes, and you might have a different set of dies. I used the texture, I think they're just called the Chic dies, but they're part of the Texture Chic Suite or the Seasons of Chic. And I cut some of the extras. So this was from the sheet of paper. So this is more of that iridescent paper in just the scraps. This is that medium-sized snowflake and a couple smalls. So I'm just using some things from my stash, but using up the papers that were left over. Okay, so we definitely need these 3. We're going to set those aside. Let's see. I have my snowflakes here. There's that one. Again, that's cut from the iridescent. And then I have a couple smalls. Scraps from that iridescent sheet of laser cut snowflakes. Okay, let's get on with to me, this is where the art is all going to happen in here. And it's going to take a minute. We're going to use Bermuda Bay and shaded spruce for most of this, okay? Then we'll also be using some craft white. So this is Whisper White. Give your lid a good squeeze to get a bunch of ink in there, okay? And we'll need an aqua painter. And I need to make sure my aqua painter is clean. So you want a clean aqua painter when you're working with white. So just make sure it's clean. See, I've got some pinkiness, kind of some pink color going on in there. I want to clean that out. I think I'm getting it from my lid, so I'm going to put my lid back on. You know, do you guys just use your stuff enough that it really needs to either be cleaned nicely or a new one? Okay, the other thing, let's grab a couple ink brushes or blending brushes. And with Bermuda Bay, it's going to take us a second to really build up some ink. I'm going to kind of work in an oval, so because I want to keep some of this as the Bermuda Bay color. So I'm just kind of working, just kind of giving myself a layout here. And yes, I might have some ink, but for the most part, I want to keep this center area free of ink. A little bit, but okay. Oh, yes, Julie says she forgot about the snowflakes in there. Yeah, it's like, do I have any snowflakes? So now that I've kind of given myself an area here, I can come in. So you like the way I just stopped mid-sentence? Do I have any snowflakes? I was thinking to myself, it's like, do I have any current snowflakes? Because I have all kinds of other dyes. And that's okay to use those, obviously. They're totally fantastic. But yes, in my stash of goodies right now, in the Texture Chic Suite, Seasons of Chic, can never remember the actual name. There are some snowflakes in there. In fact, there's a bigger snowflake too. You're going to see that in just a second if we get to that other card. Yeah, we got time. We got time. I don't have to be anywhere until 2 o'clock my time. And it's only 11:27 right now. No, we are not going to stamp that long, folks. So I'm making my way around this entire card or cardstock piece, just kind of turning it. Again, kind of looking at my circle there. It's an oval, not a circle. Not to get ink there. So that I have some lightness, kind of looking as if it's, you know, on a dark wintry night, this is kind of where the moon is giving us a little bit of light. Okay, now I'm just going to get back to my oval action, swirling this around. Build up this corner just a little bit more. Now we're going to repeat this exact process using shaded spruce. However, I might not get as close to the center with the shaded spruce as I did the Bermuda Bay. And keep Bermuda Bay open. We may need to go back to it to blend and even things up. So now I've switched to shaded spruce. When you do this sort of thing, folks, you do need to re-ink because it does use a, you know, it definitely uses some ink. So coming into the sides here, again, not going quite as far as I did with the Bermuda Bay. But kind of blend that. Get the look you're going for. But what's cool here is I know that the Bermuda Bay and the shaded spruce they're pretty close in color, but in person I do see variation from very little to the Bermuda Bay to the shaded spruce. So it's just kind of creating almost a tunnel effect, which is nice because then it guides our eye to the sleigh that we're going to stamp there. Okay. A little bit more. Coming around. Do you guys do you do ink blending? Do you like to do that I do, just curious what sorts of things you like to do. Sherry says, I noticed that recently too, that I'm needing to re-ink my pad after using it with blends. Amazing how much ink it uses. I agree, Sherry. Also, it's just a matter of, I think I really need to re-ink my pads. Sometimes I did that with my my early espresso. It was like, oh boy, that did need some rejuicing, because you'll stamp it one time, you're like, oh, that's okay. And then you re-ink it and you're like, oh, what have I been missing? My polished pink, ooh, that one desperately needed some lift, if you know what I mean. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Bermuda Bay and just do a little bit of kind of that circular motion to really just soften and blend any of those areas that I feel like may have just gotten a bit, you know, if I had I just don't want any sharp brush marks, you know. I want it to be smooth. I'm shutting my pads, and I should probably wash my hands because I'm gonna get green on everything now. But let's go to our white ink pad and our aqua painter, and I'm gonna flick against something that's not, my cap is dirty, so I'm just flicking, so water and white. And the water is good to flick on here, because what that will do, where there's ink, it'll give us some water spots, and it'll give us dimension. Okay, I want to get some bigger white splotches on here. And then we'll do the same thing with Wink of Stella. Get her moving. And hello. This adds a ton of dimension here. Just really get that splattered and pretty. Now I'm going to bring my heat tool in just to kind of speed the process up a little bit here and give this a little bit of a heat action. Okay, just to dry that water so that I can come in and stamp. We're going to stamp the stars in white. Pretty. I agree, Julie, it is pretty. Let me hold it up so you guys can see. You know, we've just created a very cool starry sky. So, I mean, it works great with like colors, you know, gorgeous grape, navy, even misty moonlight. I know it's retired, but that can look really cool to give you kind of this night sky. Now let's bring in early espresso. And we'll use early espresso to stamp the reindeer and his sleigh. Now, we haven't used this image just yet. And let me just show you. Here is, I've just pulled it off the block and let it relax. That's how the image goes. But I am going to, let me bring this in so you can see. I am going to shape him just a little bit different. I'm gonna kind of give it a little more curve. Okay, come on. So I've just given it, you know, down and up. Oh, he maybe doesn't want to go that tight. Anyway, just have some fun. That way it's totally customized to you. Ink this up. And I want to make sure that it's stamping nicely. Glad I checked. I just want lots of ink on here. Might be smart to do this one in the Stamper Radish. But I'm going to freehand it here and hope for the best. So he is going to fly across the night sky right in here. And I'm just going to kind of give it a good push. And I'm also going to let the ink penetrate the fibers of this cardstock. I agree, it does bring this piece of cardstock to another level. I totally agree with that, Sherry. That's why even when I'm doing die cuts of like leaves and things, I'll go in and color them and create my own thing, just because it does make such a difference. Now I'm going to scatter a few of the white stars here and there. So with my white ink, and the star stamp. Just get that, and let's see. We'll just do a few here and there. Right there. Just to hopefully blend them in. So these are closer stars in the sky that are showing. And let's see. Let's just do one right about there. Cute. Turn that stamp each time. Looking good. And I think I'm going to do just one more up in here. And maybe, okay, that's enough. Just a few scattered here and there. Now we can do some assembly, but I can see there's one piece here that I didn't get ready, and that is, so I have been using the red and white glimmer paper, and so this red, all I'm gonna do is just cut a little strip. Nothing fancy here. I think I'm just gonna cut myself like a 1/2 inch strip of glimmer, and then, you know, just eyeball. Maybe it's like 2.5 inches long. Well, 2 3/4. Let's do 2 3/4. So just a little piece, and look, that could be for something else. Just all this needs is that little punch of red to really kind of set it, you know, kind of punch it up a little bit. So we're gonna go something like this, and then the ho, ho, ho. We have these pieces to come in here. So we're layering these right like so, and then adding the snowflakes and a tie. I also have, if you wanna maybe look to the inside here, you can see I did do some embossing right on the side. So we'll do that as well. So, but let's assemble this piece here. That way we're not gonna lose anything. And so I am going to start with, kind of need to know where ho, ho, ho is gonna be right about there. And then Santa Claus. So let's see. Let's put my red right about where I have it. So just right at that star. That's kind of going to give me my, where I'm going to put it. And I'm going to do this red right to the edge. Just straight across. And then this piece here, look, you can see, still having issues with my cutter. Need a new blade. And I'm gonna, so this one is going to hang off the edge just a little bit. That was intentional. Just to give it some variation. I like breaking, you know, the third wall, the fourth wall, if you know what I mean. And that's kind of here coming over the edge. Now Santa Claus is coming to town, going on with dimensionals. Okay, that could use a little more glue. And this one, they're just kind of stair-stepping right on up, if you know what I mean. Ta-da! Let's put on the ho, ho, ho with dimensionals, minis this time, in order to fit them on there. There, right on the H. And one more right there. Okay. We'll add that. Okay. Cute. There's that. Give that a little flatten out. Now for my snowflakes. A little dot of glue there, not on everything. That'll hold it just fine. And it's gonna set kind of right up in there. There's one there. Whoops, my glue is showing. And I put on very little glue. And then I have a few more. So one is hitting, let me bring this back in. One is under that O, and then one's down here. So a little glue there. And we've got some twine. And before we mount it, I am going to emboss my green. And I'll show you how I got that through the machine. Super cute. I need some glue right in there. Let me show you what I do when I need glue sometimes. I find a little scrap piece of paper like this, and I use it as like a spatula. A spatula. That way I can come in here and kind of get in there with a little bit of glue and hold that down without trying to lift and bend things. Okay, so let's do our twine. Love me some twine. And especially this, it's like candy canes, right? So tie yourself a bow. Yeah, that's a little small. I want a little bit more tail action. And I like the longer tails on this because it just kind of, it's like, you know, the sleigh is swooshing by. It's adding to the motion, if you know what I mean. Okay. Got it a little long, but there we have it. And we'll put this on with a glue dot, just like we did earlier. Glue dot, and I'm going to hook them right in and about there. Okay. Thanks, Kayleen, for the comment. I think what makes this card so cool is just, you know, it's just a big, bold punch of color. And they're traditional. I mean, I like your oddball colors for Christmas, but it's also nice to have such a nice, you know, pop of tradition as well. Okay, so for the embossing on this one, let's find, okay, here's my plate. Now, where did I put the folder? Here it is. I actually put it all the way away. So to do this edge, this is going to be easy enough to fit. So I just want this, a slice of that. And I'm going to, no, I don't want quite half. That's too much. I just kind of want about a third. But I do want it to be straight. So it does fit on my plate, and then I can put it through just like I normally would. Okay, here it comes. Ah, look at that. Isn't that just sweet? Now we can finish up by adding this whole thing to the card with dimensionals, of course. Everything is flying around here. And I'm actually going to do 6 dimensionals on this. There you go. That way nothing will sag in the middle, right in that area. Flip this over, and there you have it. And I am centering this piece. Super cute. Super cute. You could add, in fact, I did, some of the little embellishments they gave us. I did add some of those. They're kind of hard to see. There's one there, and I added 3, so let's do that again. Like one there. They're kind of like little stars. Over there. Let's do another little one. Come on. I think we'll do it right up in there. Okay. Little twinkling, bright stars in the sky. Ta-da! Super cute. Super cute. So pull out your blending brushes and make something beautiful. Okay, let's see. I think I have, oh goodness, I have several more here. But we've got time. Okay, for this card, grab this card base. And let's see, let's also grab one of the large snowflakes and another Santa and a Mary and one of the, these pieces are all from the kit so far. I am going to add just a little bit. So we used some of the red glimmer paper This is the white glimmer paper. And so these are the snowflakes that I have. This one, you've seen this one. I die cut that on some of the scrap of the iridescent paper that was left over. This is the larger snowflake from the Chic dies, Season of Chic dies. So I know Michaela says, I wish you had this set in the UK. This really is a sweet, sweet sweat. I wish you guys had it too. Okay, so for our first step for this card here, what I want to do is I'm also going to use a little strip of red like we did on that previous card that we just made. But this one's not quite long enough. So I want a longer strip than that I had left over. So just cut yourself like a 1/2 inch piece again, and or thereabouts. Don't totally, you know, like I've got to have it be exact. And let's see. I know how long it's going to be. I want it to be longer than this piece here. So that looks good. Flying by the seat of our pants here. But that's just kind of, you know, sometimes some things aren't as important, you know, measurements sometimes, but not right now. Okay, so that's all we're going to use of that. Now I'm going to bring my embossing folder back in, because instead of putting that piece over the center, I am going to, let me slide my elements for this card out of the way. I'm going to emboss the center section of this. I want snowflakes all, and yeah, it's going to overhang a little bit, but that's totally okay. No problem there. I do want to make sure it's straight. And I'm going to go through, I could do one of two things. I could fold my card in half and put it through the machine with the folded edge up like we're supposed to do. Or I can put it through this way and then not have my card folded. It should be okay. So you choose. It's just if you are going to put this through on its side, just be sure that it's really straight so it does not crack your folder. Kayleen says, curious, are you going to use the frame in your cards? I need to go in a bit. Do you mean the frame piece? I do use it in one card, and I have used it on a little package that I made, but not quite the way they had shown. Kayleen, I'll save this video so you can watch a replay. Plus, I'm going to post photos tomorrow of my projects, and so you'll see them there. Look how good that looks. And I like that it's kind of gone over the edge. There you have it. So this is going to be another one of those, you know, it's not got all the crazy stamping, and it's just going to be an assembly type of card. So to assemble this, we are going to take our elements, and let me just kind of give you a rough outline of where we're going. Okay, you could do that crooked, you could do it straight, you can do it however you want, but this is what I'm going to do. Something that looks a little bit like this. Mary is going to come in here, and we're going to stamp Christmas on this, and then we have our bright snowflake here, and where's my other one? Kind of right up in here. So we have just some fun snowflakes going, and then Santa's going to be hanging out in here. And of course, we're going to do some linen thread in there as well. So before we assemble, let's do our stamping. I'm going to flip this over just because it's mucky and dirty, and I don't want that anymore. And let's bring our Stamparatus in. Stamparatus, here it is. So now my paper moved, but that's okay because I know that this just needs to, okay, I just needed to get it back in the corner, and we should be good. We're going to cross our fingers. Well, I don't know. We may have to reposition this. So let me reposition. There we go. Hopefully we're still good. Now for this one, we could stamp this in espresso. We could stamp it in Versamark and emboss it white. I think I'm going to do this one in espresso. I kind of have done a little bit of everything. So here's espresso. And grab your Santa. I kind of even like him without the stamping. Put him in your jig. I hope this is still good. Okay. Looking good. How cute is that? Super, super cute. So there's that. And now let's stamp Christmas in espresso as well. That way the two will tie together. And I need to give it a little bit of a quick clean. But for the life of me, I'm like, where's my cleanup pad? Here it is. It's hiding. You guys, I haven't busted it out yet, but I did get a new chamois. I should open it and use it. Okay, so here comes my need for the black foam pad again. That's so that I have contrast between the paper, because if I try and stamp that on there, I'm not going to be able to see it very well. And then I've also used a large enough block that I can see my label through. I can see exactly where I'm stamping, and that black foam not only gives me a little cushion to stamp, since this is photopolymer, but it allows me to see exactly where I'm going. And that's pretty straight and centered. I'll pat myself on the back. All right, that'll go in there, cute. And like I said, we need a little bit of a linen bow swishing through there. Oh no, I've ruined my linen. I pulled off the wrong end. Oh, that's not good, because now it's going to get tangled. Okay, so we'll take just a piece like this, give it a tie, even things out, and there we go. That's good. Now we can assemble this and call it art, call it finished. So bring in your dimensionals. Let's use our regulars. 1, 2, and we'll need some minis on the Mary there. And there, it's going to be a little tricky. There's that. We might have to cut some of these, but I do want them. Yeah, we're going to have to, well, let's see. Let's assemble and then see if it needs dimensionals. It might be a little too, it might end up retreating too far back. Okay, so let's glue these in place. This nice red pop of glitter. You gotta love it. And I'm gonna put this down. Oops, I got it a little low. Glue all over the place. So that's the name of my game. So we've got some glue there. We'll put this one on with glue as well. Hey, stick down. So I'm centering these. Now I'm just going to kind of eyeball. So Santa's coming in here. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, where this big guy is going. And I don't really want him dead center, but it's feeling like he's going to hit there. But I'm going to go off just a little bit. Okay. Pop Santa in here. Man, it just does not want to stick to that glitter. Tell it who's boss. Okay. And then Mary is going to come in here like so. I think I need to slide Santa down a little bit. Come on. The whole thing's going. Okay. This is not wanting to stick. Hold on. We're bringing in the big guns here. It's going to stay now. Oh, I'm glad you got the refill too, Lori. That's awesome. Does anybody know if the refill is still available? Bring this over a little bit more. There we go. Now I should have room for the Mary. Okay. So I'm trying to debate. I really do want dimensionals on it, but I don't want to sit here and do dimensionals. Put dimensionals on yours. Cut them up nice and skinny, if you know what I mean. I'm just going to brush a little glue for now. Yes, Denise, good. I'm glad you got it. Because there's some cute stuff here, folks. There's the Mary. And we'll do a nice snowflake down in here. Christmas is going to come in here. Oh, I forgot. Oh, shoot. My linen thread goes under here. Hold on. Okay, I've lifted it enough that I can sneak it in there. The refill is available. Okay, good, Kayleen. Thanks for looking at that. And so the refill includes everything except the stamps and the ink spot. So you get all of the pieces, just no stamps, no ink spot. But this stamp set is so cute, you guys. I mean, this is really, really a cute, cute stamp set. Okay, so, and then we have a snowflake kind of coming in here. And Christmas, and then one more snowflake. Where did my medium go? Oh, shoot, Queen. Is it on the bottom of my trimmer? That's where my pieces were last time. I'm like, where did it go? I know I just had it, and it was glued to the bottom of my trimmer. I'm not sure where my other snowflake went, and I don't have one cut and ready to go. Oh. There's supposed to be a snowflake right here. Okay, well, since we don't have it right now, we will just do without. So we're going to add this one here. That's where my things stick too. Isn't it silly? You find them in random places. It's like, that's where it went. Now I'm putting Christmas on upside down, but Christmas is going to come right in here. Okay, well, we're supposed to have, just imagine with me, if you will, a snowflake here and a snowflake here, kind of going in an arc. I'll find it when we clean up. Oh, I found it. It's on the floor. It was on the edge of my counter and I knocked it off. Okay, so now to decide, do I want this one here and this one here or here, here? This was the plan, but I think we'll do more like, we're going to do the medium one over here. Mediano, grande. Yeah. Ooh, I like that too. Okay, change plans. You know, you're just kind of like, I think I know what it should be. Not everything is exactly the same. Because, you know, you lay it out, do things different. So I'm going to put this one down here, kind of eking into his beard, and then this one will poke from behind. And then we will, and you could give him a splatter and color in Santa with a little bit of Wink of Stella, obviously. And add some gems if you'd like, but cute, quick and simple, just, even though I'm having a hard time holding things down with the glitter. But I would come in here and definitely take your Wink and intensify the Mary. That'll pop it out a little bit. But if you're doing this one, maybe do use the dimensionals and it'll give that Mary a little bit more oomph. Cuteness right there. And let's see, Kayleen asked about the frame. Let me show you what I've done with the frame. I didn't make the card exactly as they had, but I did make a little tag / ornament here. So Kayleen, there I've used it. So I was gonna do it as a shaker card, because it is a shaker, right? But it was so full. It was just, when you use our strips for shaker cards, it just got too, it was standing out too high on the card, and it was just bugging me that it was that you know, it was high. Anyway, so I turned it into a tag, and the tag actually says Santa Claus is coming to town, deliver to. So, you know, it could be a tag on a bag, and I've just used some of that's the tissue from the kit. So I've got a gift bag ready to go. So that's what I did with that, Kaylee. And a shaker, you guys all know how to use a shaker, make a shaker. So let's see, I have one more. I actually have two more, but we're just going to do one more card, and it's a quick one because Kayleen asked about the frame, and so I am going to use the frame here, but I'm going to use the frame opposite of what it's supposed to do. Anyhow, so this is the card base that we'll use. Give it a good fold with your bone folder, of course. And my elements are this piece here that I just showed you in the shaker card. And I'm gonna use the frame, but instead of the frame on top, I'm gonna use it as a layer underneath. So let's do that right away. I'm gonna glue that. Now, the frame is smaller than this piece, but that's okay. Just hang with me and it will get all fixed. So here we go. So this is just gonna look like a layer of paper behind this piece. Easy. And then what I'm planning to do is, in order to kind of, fix that that's not all the way, they've given us this bigger piece. This piece here is going to set in here, and so that's going to cover that up so you won't even notice. Let me bring in some color contrast here so you can see what I mean. See how it's a little bit longer there? We'll just add that. And that's going to go onto our card with dimensionals and everything, but we need to stamp first. So let's stamp this piece. We'll stamp it in the espresso with the Santa. He's flying away there. Here he is. Okay, let me shape it again. Give it a little flying action. Just giving it a good push onto there. They do kind of pop off when you reshape them, but you just have to kind of put them back on the way you like. Okay, so he's flying across the sky here. So cute. Looking good. Now we can add some dimensionals to this. I have so much glue on my fingers right now, I can't pick things up. Okay, so dimensionals just on the back. Kind of hold that in place. I think I'm going to throw one in the middle so it doesn't sag. Good enough. Peel these. And we'll add this right to the top center of the card. So I'm going to give myself equal measurements on the side, the top, and the right side. Not too tricky. And then we want to do the Here Comes Santa Claus, or Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I'm going to stamp this in, I think I'm going to stamp it in Bermuda. You could do Bermuda or you could do shaded spruce, either one. Just pick a color. I'm going to do it in Bermuda. This is the little label. Again, that's going to be tricky to stamp white on white because it's just hard to see where you're stamping. So let's pull both of those pieces up for just a second here onto your foam mat. Give that just a skosh more ink. Santa Claus is coming to town. Oops, I'm a little crooked. That's okay. Call it art. Christmas, I need to give this a clean here. I'm going to clean this and stamp it with the shaded spruce, not shaded spruce, Bermuda Bay. You could do shaded spruce, but basically it's not going to be red. It's going to be one of the greens in the palette here. Again, using that foam mat so that I can see the white, and I've got a nice contrast there so I can see what I'm doing, what I'm stamping. Okay, put away before I make it a wreck. There are my pieces. Now, let's assemble. I have everything here that I'm going to want. However, I do want, and it's like, should I use the sweet sorbet or should I use the linen thread? I think I'll use the sweet sorbet since my linen thread kind of got in a little bit of a knot. So tie yourself a bow that has not super, super long, but we're going to tuck this under one of our layers. Oops. That is just not going to do. It was going to turn out a wreck. Do over. Okay, so give yourself some fairly large loops. Get them even. I like to hunker down and make them tight. And then clip your ends so that they're somewhat even. Okay, now we have all of our pieces. So, but one thing I do know that I want this to layer behind this banner but it's not quite long enough. So with the miracle of scissors, it's now long enough, and I can stretch this to make it look like it's, you know, longer than it is. So a little bit of glue on this end, and we'll have this sticking out about like that. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. It's going to come across the bottom. And then so we'll do the same thing on this side, a little glue here. And we'll take it to the back like so. Now this piece stretches almost across the card. I'm going to scooch that in just a little bit. Okay, so now that area that didn't quite cover, now we've got it covered with a pretty banner action going on. So I'm going to glue this one down, but before I glue it down, I'm going to actually hold my linen thread, or not linen thread, this is baker's twine. It's going to kind of run through right in there. That's where I want it to be. So I'm going to do just a quick hit of Seal Plus, because I can put this on and stick it there, but I can also shape my loops and my thread, my tail ends a little bit. So see how it's kind of flat? I can kind of shape it and go the direction, give it just a little bit more volume so it has kind of rounder. Okay, use that to your advantage. This is going on with dimensionals. You know it. Okay. And so just kind of right over on the bottom, center that. I've got some extra little glue and whatnot. Let me trim this end, is a little long. There we go. Now we will put the Mary is going to go right there. We don't need to put dimensionals on it, thank goodness. But let's put dimensionals on. Santa Claus is coming to town. Okay, and on Christmas. So I'm going to do some minis on the Christmas here. So I had one more card planned. We're not going to do it because we're going long, but I want to, and I'll make it and I'll post it. I'm going to, that's where I had the white embossing. So I'll show that one with you tomorrow when I photo everything. Although I have really good light right now. It's been kind of gray here the last few days. So getting a photo in the last few days has been a little tricky, if you know what I mean. Okay, Mary, right on that banner, super cute. And then Christmas, oops, is going to come right underneath, right in there, like so. And then this one, oops, got to take the backings off. Fill this little negative space right in there. And now, with our snowflakes, we're going to add these kind of right in here and up in here, just wherever you like. You know, maybe down in here, or do you want to tuck it all the way down? Maybe it doesn't need all three, but it's whatever you want it to be. So maybe I should pick this guy up. Just a little tuck right in there, a little sparkle. Be sure again that you've got the iridescent side up if you like the sparkly stuff. I sure do. Okay, this one's going right in here. And then this last one, I got this one a little low. Can't quite see it. There we go, that's better. And now, I think I'll do this one kind of right, I don't know, right up in here somewhere. And that will finish out this card, minus a little flicking. Let me see. Somebody says, Lori replied to Kate, I missed the beginning. What did you glue the Santa sleigh portion to? The white piece. It's the frame that you asked about, Kayleen. So how did I use the frame? This is the frame, only it looks like a layer, but it's not really a true layer because it's a frame. It's cut out. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I can help you later. Let me straighten this because this is not straight. Oh, much better. Okay, it's cute with the sweet sorbet. I was going to do the linen thread, but I like the sweet sorbet. And of course, we have to do it because it's a Christmas card, but it doesn't matter, Christmas every day, because I use Wink of Stella every day. And again, just punching up the Mary here with the wink, and it really does show up. Yes, so Lori, you are right. It was the frame. So look what we have made. A whole stack of alternatives. I have one more, but we didn't get to it. But we have our Santa Claus is coming to town. We have another one. Merry Christmas. Here is our ink blending fun card. Here's the sweetest card of them all. Look at that. Cute. We have a fun fold that we did. And I have a couple more. Let's see if I can reach in here. They've gotten out of reach. A couple joy cards. I like that one. And then our very first one. I think this is so sweet. Fun card. So there you have it. Plus, I shared with you the shaker tag that I did. And that will be it for today. Check my my page tomorrow, and I will share the photos with you so that you can come back and make them if you'd like. But I'm so glad you were here. Join me for technique time. If you need information, I'm happy to help you out. But I will be back next month for upstyling our paper pumpkin kit from November, which is all about tags, and I like tags. So thanks for being here today. Spread the word. Share my video if you want, but I sure appreciate you being here. Have an awesome weekend. Bye-bye.